Welcome to the Printmaster QM46 operator video. Printmaster QM46 performs with versatility, speed, and productivity. Solid engineering, stable side frames, helical drive gears, and bearer-to-bearer pressure provide for high reliability in this format range. Short make-ready times are achieved with electronic controls, autoplate, central sheet size adjustments for feeder and delivery, as well as automatic blanket wash-up device. The range of use for Printmaster QM46 is very versatile. This operator video will give you many hints and suggestions on how to best benefit from all Printmaster QM46 features. Comments regarding maintenance of the press will help keep quality, availability, and service life of the Printmaster QM46 at a constantly high level. This video has been divided into 5 parts, which cover all press controls, make-ready and the production process, maintenance, press adjustments, and optional accessories. First of all, we would like to explain to you all operating elements in detail. The main switch is at the control box underneath the operation panel on the delivery side. The 0 position means that the press is switched off. The position 1 means that the press is in operation. The cylinders of the press can be turned manually with one of the 2 crank handles. Open the guard on the operator's side and put the crank handle on the supporting device. Now you can turn the cylinders manually in both directions. The emergency stop is a red button on a yellow background. There is one on the main control panel and one on the auxiliary control panel at the second printing unit. The press stops immediately when you push the emergency stop button. The red switch will lock by itself. Turning the switch to the right will unlock it. All major functions of the press can be controlled at the main control panel. To activate the safety function, you have to push the middle button on the left twice very quickly. The LED will then glow. Pushing the upper button will move the cylinders forward. Pushing the lower button will move the cylinders backward. The auxiliary control panel at Printing Unit 2 has the same buttons. The cylinders will only move inch by inch if one of the press guards is open. There is also an unlimited crawl speed mode if all guards are closed. Please be careful not to open 2 guards at the same time. If you do that, the press will not move at all. After closing one of the guards, you can continue your work. The following guards of a Printmaster QM46 can be moved. You can open the guards at the inking unit, the dampening unit, as well as the one above the plate cylinder of Printing Unit 1. There are also 3 movable guards at Printing Unit 2. The main guard of Printing Unit 1 can be opened as well. If the press is standing still and you push the green button for production run twice very quickly, the pre-selected production program will start automatically. Pushing this button once during production run will interrupt the printing process. Pushing it again will start the production run again. The button in the middle starts and stops the waste sheet counter. If the LED is lit, the number of waste sheets is shown, but they are not counted for the production run. When deactivating this function, the pre-selected run will be processed. The red button will interrupt the production program and the press stops. Let's now take a look at the pre-selection buttons and their possible adjustments. When pushing the button for pre-dampening, you can set the number of cylinder rotations to pre-dampen the printing plate. You can choose any number between 0 and 9 with the plus-minus button. The entered value will be saved automatically. This pre-selecting option sets the number of cylinder rotations for pre-inking the printing plate via the inking rollers. Please enter any required number between 0 and 9 with the plus-minus button. With this button, you can adjust the pre-inking of the blanket. For a multicolor print on a two-color press, this value should be 0 or 1 to prevent ink migration of the lighter color when printing two colors via one blanket. With this function, you can adjust the number of cylinder rotations for cleaning the blanket. The required value between 0 and 20 can be set via the plus-minus button. The selected value will be saved automatically. When finishing the production run, the printing plate will be ejected automatically if this function has been activated. It is especially useful for short runs with frequent plate changes. The LED will glow if this function has been selected. Here you can call up and set specific special functions. On the inside of the guard, you will find a chart showing all the special functions. Special Function 16 activates the operator guidance. The LEDs of the buttons for the possible steps will flash if the operator guidance has been turned on. These are the buttons for all direct settings. They all immediately start a press function. If you push the production button twice very quickly, the press will start at the pre-selected speed. Paper travel will start without printing if you also turn on suction and blast air. For adjusting jobs during press standstill, you can turn on blast air. If you push this button twice very quickly, you will start the automatic blanket wash-up process. The press will run the pre-selected wash-up and drying rotations. If the press is already in production, this button needs to be pushed once to start the automatic wash-up procedure. The Auto Plate button activates plate insertion and ejection. If there is still a plate on the plate cylinder, it will be ejected first, and the cylinder will move into the position for plate insertion. Position the new plate, push the button twice, and the plate will be inserted automatically. This function starts the positioning run for the sheets. The length of the sheet is measured and the double sheet detector can be set. Push the button with the ink fountain symbol to have the ink ductor take over ink from the ink fountain roller during the press run. When pressing the button with the arrows in the lower right corner, the plate cylinder will move to the correct position for diagonal adjustment of the printing plate. The printing plate remains clamped but is released. The plate can now be adjusted diagonally with the socket wrench. When pushing this button, you can select the required printing unit. If the upper LED glows, you have selected printing unit 2, and if the lower LED glows, you have activated printing unit 1. Both printing units are activated if both LEDs glow. The numeric display is used for entering numbers, as, for example, run length or numeric codes for special programs. The entered numbers can be deleted by pressing the lower button on the right. You need this function for premature stopping of the production. The display of the remaining run length is set to 0, and the press stops the production run. The press speed is shown in the upper left corner of the information display. In the lower right corner, you can see the pre-selected run length, and in the upper right corner, the number of sheets still to be printed is counted backward. You can set the production speed via the plus-minus button. The maximum speed is 10,000 sheets per hour. If any error occurs, the symbols in the upper information display will flash. If one of the press functions is not working and this display flashes, you should immediately call for service. The error detecting system, Special Function 56, is usually all you need to find and even fix the problem over the telephone. Over here you see the symbol for a general malfunction. It will flash, for example, if one of the guards is open. This area will glow if an error occurred during plate change or if there is no plate on the plate cylinder. If there is a malfunction on one of the peripherals, it will be shown here. This display will glow if the delivery pile is full and needs to be changed. This function shows that there is a paper jam in the delivery. And this symbol indicates that there is a paper jam in the feeder. Double sheets, early or late arriving sheets, or missing sheets, are registered and shown here. This symbol will glow if the feeder pile is adjusted too high or too low. Now we would like to explain to you the functionality of the feeder and the adjustments of paper travel in greater detail. The maximum sheet size is 46 by 34 centimeters or 18 1/8 by 13 1/2 inches. If you engage the crank handle at the feeder, you can move the pile board up and down slowly. This gearbox can also be switched over to fast movement of the pile board. Lift up the feeder frame and position one sheet of the stock in the center of the feed board. The hand wheel simultaneously sets the lateral sheet stops in the feeder and the delivery. The lateral pile guides just barely touch the sheet edges. When processing smaller paper sizes, each suction device outside the sheet format has to be switched off. This is done by moving up the sleeves of the respective suction device. To switch a suction device back on, all you have to do is push the sleeve back down. The blast air has to be adjusted via this knob so that only the top sheet will be separated from the pile. The forwarding rollers must be adapted to the width of the sheet. Please move the suction bar to a position where the forwarding rollers can be moved. The Tommy bar screw has to be opened for this adjustment. Position the forwarding rollers symmetrically to the sheet. The distance between the forwarding rollers should be approximately 2/3 of the format width. Please make sure that the forwarding rollers lock into their proper position. If the pressure of the forwarding rollers is not equal, it can be adjusted via the upper knurled head screw. The stock is aligned either to the operator's side or to the drive side via a pull bar equipped with rubber rings. Slight differences in the stock can be leveled out with this pull bar. Plate springs are installed on the lateral limitation blades in order to improve sheet travel.